Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back your lovely faces to a brand new video here on the channel. My name is Dan and today we're going to be talking about David Miscavige's niece. David Miscavige is the leader of Scientology and his niece left 20 years ago. So we're going to be looking at that. If you are new around here folks, like the video, subscribe and let's get on into it. So this is Jenna Miscavige, David Miscavige's niece. And she's now spoken out about a lot of the stuff that if you did something wrong in Scientology, just the punishment just sounds absolutely horrific. So, niece of Scientology leader David Miscavige explains horrifying alleged punishment if you mess up in church. So with that one there, obviously they are going to be putting in alleged because they can't just say this is what happens to you. But here on the channel, we've actually done a lot of Scientology videos, which sadly a lot of them had to get deleted because I had mass flagging against my channel when we did a lot of Scientology stuff in 2022 going into 2023, and because of that the channel got demonetized because Scientology just kept going on and on and on. And again, if you are on YouTube, you find out and you know who's flagging your content, so you kind of know who it is. But yeah, so with that one there, we've also spoken to AA Ron growing up in Scientology. We actually had him on the channel about 1.5 to 2 years ago, where we had a great couple of hours conversation, and we talked a lot of the stuff. And a lot of the stuff that AA Ron came up with is actually by here as well. So, a woman whose family leads Church Scientology has revealed some of the alleged punishments that the religion enforces. The niece of Scientology leader, Miscavige, has stood as a vocal critic of the organization ever since she left in 2005, so literally 20 years ago. Jenna Miscavige was the third generation Scientologist in her family who joined when she was just 2 years old. Okay, that one there, they go, oh, you're with us, blah, 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 your family's in it, whatever, okay. But it's this part here that is absolutely nuts. At the age of 8, she signed a billion-year contract with the company's Sea Org, essentially agreeing to follow the doctrine and the stringent rules for the remainder of her life. That is absolutely insane. Who thought, I know, we'll get 8-year-olds to sign a billion-year contract, they can never leave us, but it gives us power of attorney over everything they do, which is exactly what we're going to look at. Some of those rules include separating children from their parents, meaning Jenna grew up under the Scientology school called The Ranch, where we've actually heard from AA Ron and a couple of other videos that we did where we're looking into things. The Ranch is one of the most horriblest places any child could be. So clearly giving up Scientology and leaving behind the entire life you've ever known isn't easy, as Jenna revealed in her book, Beyond Belief, My Secret Life Inside Scientology and My Harrowing Escape. Now she's continuing to campaign against the church and recently, I'm going to move myself down for you, put myself by there so you can see, that recently revealed the type of punishment Scientology followers were inflicted with if they were to mess up. Speaking to the Lad Bible, she said she was aware of things that happened when her uncle David would step in. Like when he would meet people or they would mess up, they would get sent to the RPF, Rehabilitation Project Force. Literally, man, I'm telling you, even though I have seen and spoken to and researched Scientology for years, it's literally still mind-blowing the names of these places and these people they have, the Squirrel Squad and all this kind of stuff is absolutely insane. But when you're calling it a force, yeah, we're gonna do it. And this is one of the reasons why police officers and all that got rid of the police force, the word force, because it sounds too on people, Absolutely insane. Which in the Sea Org, it's like the highest punishment you can get, where you have to wear all black, you can't speak unless spoken to, and you have to run everywhere you go, and then you have to spend 5 hours a day getting intensive interrogation. We knew this because Aaron as well, AA Ronnie told us. This is absolutely insane, it really is. If that's not bad enough, Jenna said they would then spend the rest of the time doing heavy manual labor. Again, AA Ron told us this as well, it's absolutely insane. The woman said some would get sent to the RPF after doing something not bad at all. This may include members who have produced poor quality work, are considered unproductive, or have some hidden ill intentions towards the church. It's absolutely insane, it really is. And again, when we've seen the E-meter interrogations, you know, when you hold the two rods and it goes up if you're asked questions and everything else, you're going to produce that because of the electricity in your body anyway. You know, if you get nervous or if you get like, oh, you know, that kind of emotion, it's going to go up no matter what. You know, and them using that, saying, oh, this is terrible, look at this. In my eyes, that is just absolutely ludicrous, it really is. So Jenna does detail that her eventual escape from one of the world's most secretive religions, which saw her subjected to E-meter interrogations, 25 hours a week of manual labour, and relentless study of the works of L. Ron Hubbard, she wasn't the only one in her family to have severed ties. It's absolutely insane. But again, when she was 16, she told her parents, her parents left Scientology, but she was prohibited from speaking to them over the phone for a year, while all other correspondence through letters was intercepted. This is not a church, it is not a religion, this is a cult. And this just shows it even more. We have had so many people over the years who has left Scientology. They could be famous people, they could be normal people, and they all say the same thing. This is why, in my eyes, you can't really say it's alleged anymore. When thousands of people have come out and said this, all saying the same exact thing about Scientology, you know it's literally like Adamstown. It is a cult. And Miscavige would let everyone know, L. Ron Hubbard spoke to me, he wants you all to drink cyanide. They would. Because it is a cult hive. That is exactly what it is. And it's absolutely insane. But then it says that her grandfather, Ron Miscavige Sr., also made the bombshell decision after almost 5 decades with the church in 2012, as well as her grandmother Becky. If your son is the head of the church and you want to get out of it, you know something's wrong. You know that. And especially if your son, who is the leader and everything else, and he's not doing anything to help you, and he's actually saying, yes, you go here, you do this, you do that, I'm going to interrogate you intensely 5 hours a day, you know there's a bit of power coming over him. Well, he's a little man, isn't he? It's little man syndrome, we know this. But when your own parents leave, and you've been in there for that long, but to be honest with you, David Miscavige, I do think he thinks he's L. Ron Hubbard. But when contacted by Ladder Bible Group, the spokesperson for the Church of Scientology claimed Jenna Hill is to David Miscavige what Billy Carter was to President Jimmy Carter, describing her as a relative who is shamelessly exploiting the family name for attention and profit. She's written a book about what she experienced at this place. And to be honest with you, people need to know. They really do. The church added that Jenna was dismissed from the church 2 decades ago following alleged assaults against her fellow staff members, adding, Miss Hill has freely admitted to her misconduct, which is a matter of public record. The statement further claimed that Jenna's comments coincided with her relationship with former Scientologist Aaron Smith Levin, saying he was arrested recently for a felony hate crime after attacking a Church of Scientology staff member outside the religion's spiritual headquarters in Clearwater. Which, to be honest with you though, this didn't happen. You know, he was arrested, but Aaron is always filming himself and going live when he's doing these things, just to show he's like, no. But again, no, with these, a felony hate crime after attacking a staff member. I have seen, if you watched Aaron as well, you know, growing up in Scientology, some of his videos are absolutely insane and they are so good. The amount of stuff that Aaron does and just what he's doing to warn people, you know, and what people seem to be forgetting as well, because they may see this and be like, oh, he was arrested, oh, that's bad, he did this. Aaron was in it for most of his life. Look at the subject of just the punishment that these people were given. And all of this stuff, when you think of it, is these people, when they're 2, like Jenna was, signing a contract when she was 8 years old, all these other kids doing it, they're not seeing what the outcome is. It's basically child slave labor. That is exactly what David Miscavige has turned Scientology into. And again, in my eyes, David Miscavige is just another one of these televangelist, whatever they're called. I can't even say the word. Televangelist. I can't even say it. Do you ever get that point when you're trying to say something and you know the word, but it just doesn't come out? It's absolutely insane. But those people on TV who are like, oh, praise the Lord and all this kind of stuff. And then when they show that they've bought like 6 planes and they live on a ranch with like $100 million house and all this stuff. Anyway, yeah, that's what I think David Miscavige is. I really do think he's one of those people who he's literally just using all the money that comes in on himself, his family and everything else. Because with all of this, you don't hear any celebrities being sent to these rehabilitation, rehabilitation project force, which is absolutely insane that they've called it that. You don't see any celebrities going there, because they're celebrities, they gotta be treated nice. I do love Tom Cruise's movies. For him as a person, seeing what Scientology has done to him, the guy's a bit of a nut job, he really is. But you don't see Tom Cruise doing this work, do you? Hell, we've heard stories, and we've also seen stories from people who David Miscavige has said, if Mr. Cruise, because that's what he calls him, if Mr. Cruise wants anything done, you do it. If Tom Cruise wants his apartment or whatever redecorated, they all come from Scientology. That way there is that nothing can get past Miscavige. Everything Tom Cruise does, Miscavige knows. Hell, Miscavige was his best man at his wedding to Katie Holmes, and that was one of the first parts when, well, no one knew where Shelley Miscavige was. Supposedly that she's been seen on all this other stuff, but that's another video for another day, folks. But yeah, Scientology is absolutely just mind-blowing how so many people, again, it's religion, I'm like it with all religions, of how many people follow these religions. But when they turn out to be a cult, it's a bit like, oh, wow, okay. Look at Adamstown. Look how that was. When he, not Adamstown, sorry, was it Jonestown? I think it was Jonestown. I can't remember now. It was Jonestown, folks, Jonestown, not Adamstown, which is another area. Well, Adamsdown is a area here in Cardiff. But yeah, Jonestown. The word Jonestown refers to the remote settlement in Guiana where on November 18th, oh, bloody hell, a couple of days away, 78, cult leader Jim Jones orchestrated a mass self-deletion that resulted in the deaths of 918 people. I really do think that if Miscavige said that he has spoken to Xanu or whatever the guy's name is, or L. Ron Hubbard, this is what needs to happen, they would do it. The people who blindly follow, they would do it. It's sad. It really is. Because, again, like with Jenna Miscavige here, when you would do something wrong, you would get punished and sent to a rehabilitation project force, which is insane. It really is. And it's the highest punishment, where you wear all black, you can't speak unless spoken to, and you have to run everywhere, and then you have to spend 5 hours a day getting intensive interrogation. We have seen people talk about this where if they were bad, I mean they were really bad, they would be sent to this place. You would be working 20 or so hours a day. You literally had no sleep. We have heard people come out and say that. We've had, and there's not just Jenna Miscavige or Aaron. There's so many other people where they were sent to places and they had to clean toilets and bathrooms and all that with a bloody toothbrush. This is not punishment or what they're saying. It's not a rehabilitation or anything. This is just forced slave labor. They don't get paid for this. This is exactly what is wrong with it, and it's absolutely disgusting. And again, seeing people who come out of this cult, we are seeing things where, if they're a high-powered person or used to be and they know a lot of secrets, they would get followed by the Squirrel Squad. And these people would have cameras, they'd have their phones out, they're doing all of this. And it's like, what the hell are you doing? And they would just literally harass and attack you. Attack you to the point where they don't touch you, but they're literally verbally attacking you. They'll try and push things that you're carrying away or whatever. Not on you, because again, if that is on you, they can say, oh, assault, assault. But that's what they do. They want to make you so angry that you will go up to them and you will push them. Hell, There's a famous video by the BBC Panorama, which, to be honest with you, we can't really trust BBC. Well, I didn't trust the BBC anyway. But with the BBC and Panorama, where one of their investigators was speaking to someone from Scientology, and what did Scientology do? They released their own video where this guy is absolutely screaming at someone, where it does get to a point where it could get physical. And they released it and say, look, this is what the BBC reporter was. Look how angry. Look what this is. But what they never showed, Scientology this is that the person he was speaking to, they were provoking him. They were getting to the point where this is what they wanted. They want the reaction. And it's sad. It really is. Again, like I said, I've grown up not in a religious household, but my mother was born in, well, she was raised a Jehovah's Witness. My father was born and raised a Roman Catholic. Again, it's just insane how those two got together. But yeah, I've always had an interest in religion because, again, mother and father, two different religions, always butting heads they were. Not my mum and dad, the religions. And then you see things like this where it's like, wow, you know, it really is. But guys, let us know what you think about this down below, because still, it's absolutely insane. It really is. And when people come out and say, this person, Miss Hill, because if you remember, you know, I'll show you now, is, you know, it's when they spoke to Scientology, it's not Miss Jenna Miscavige, it is Jenna Hill. You know, it's like, there we go, you know? It's almost like, we must not use this surname with hers, even though it probably is. And if they're calling her Miss Jenna Hill, obviously I don't think she's married, you know? So it's absolutely insane, it really is. But guys, let us know down below what you think of this. If you are new to the channel, like and subscribe, folks. As always, my name is Dan. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.